When I was 22 and working in my first real office job, I was obsessed with trying to find a natural alternative to Adderall. I was bored all the time, unproductive, in a bad mood all the time, and honestly, I could never resist the 3 p.m. chocolate chip cookie service at my office, even when I was completely full. I really thought that if I had a natural, healthier, non-habit forming version of Adderall, that I'd be in a better mood, I would get more done, I'd be more productive, and I wouldn't eat all of the snacks that were laying around the office. Literally, there was not one bag of salt and vinegar chips in that entire office that I did not eat. Well, it's many, many years later now. I'm no longer 22, but I finally created what I wish I had had all those years ago. I came up with 3 recipes that are really gonna help me feel energized and productive this year, be in a better mood, get things done, think quicker, be better, be faster, all the things, and be hotter while doing it all. So let's get into it. Okay, the very first thing we're gonna do is create this, I don't even know if it's a sauce necessarily. It's somewhere in between a sauce and a marinade. By the way, not one of today's recipes even involves a blender. Now, is that because one of my blenders broke and the other one had a maggot infestation? Maybe it's because of that. But also it's fucking the beginning of January. You know what I mean? Like, no one needs to be doing hard things. These are really easy recipes. So I just have 1 shallot. I chopped it up. I'm gonna throw it in here. Ooh, smells good. Love a shallot. And then let's do 4 of these bird's eye chilies. Again, we're gonna chop it up. Also gonna take 1 dulse leaf and add it in here. So I usually do 4 cloves of garlic for this, but I feel like these are really big cloves, so I'm just doing 2. It also doesn't really matter. It's all for just infusing flavor. Yes. Okay, whatever. Good enough. I hope you had a great Christmas, New Year, holidays, all the fun things. I'm really excited for this year. I feel like it's gonna be our best year yet. You know what I mean? We have a new format at Blush. Well, that's it. So therefore, I feel like it's gonna be the best year yet. Plus, no, that's the only reason. I was gonna say the numerology of this year is really good, but what is it? 2 plus 6, 8, plus 2, I guess. Okay, 10 condenses to 1. I don't know, what's the numerology of 1? Is that good? So we're doing the juice of 1 lime for this. I really should have grabbed the citrus press, but like, whatever. Got the job done. 2 tablespoons of tamari. By the way, my Oura ring gets discolored all the time. Like, this is my 3rd or 4th Oura ring. And I'm always like, I don't know why. And as I'm squeezing the slime, I'm like, well, maybe that's why. And 5 tablespoons of coconut aminos. So this is kind of inspired by and has the same energy as, you know, when you go to a Thai restaurant. I actually kind of stopped counting, so this seems about right. Who knows? You know, when you go to a Thai restaurant, like kind of any Thai salad, I feel like has the same kind of tangy lime dressing that's super light. Like, it feels like truly just liquid, like it isn't even creamy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like a green papaya salad would have this dressing. Also, one thing I used to get a lot before I was vegan was lab garb, I think. It's like ground or minced chicken tossed with some stuff. It's really, really light. So this is similar energy to that. Is it the same thing? No, that has fish sauce in it. It has sugar. We're not really using those, but I did use the coconut aminos as kind of a sugar alternative for that, if you will. And then the dulse plus tamari kind of mimics fish sauce in my opinion. So we're just gonna let this sit for a second. I'm gonna go turn on the kettle because it's time for our beverage. I'm really excited about this. Okay, I'm calling this hot Thai tea. By the way, this episode isn't all Thai themed, just so you know, but I wanted to make I wanted to make a drink that would really energize you and give you clear, calm focus. It's also really grounding and it's good for circulation, bloating, all the things, but ultimately it's just really gonna give you power. So it's inspired obviously by Thai iced tea, but it's a hot beverage. We're doing 1 tablespoon of Assam black tea, which is just a specific type of black tea. There's actually different types of Assam black tea. There's different types of black tea and then there's different types of those types. There's a whole world of tea. So that's 1 tablespoon. And then I'll do a few of these black cardamom seeds. I don't buy my cardamom. By the way, how gross does this look? Like it looks like little miniature turds, not to be disgusting, but that's literally what it looks like. But yeah, I do buy whole cardamom pods, I really do, but it's not my favorite because I like to grind my cardamom often. Like I make this spice blend. Actually, you should have seen it a few episodes ago. I make kind of like a dirty chai kind of drink. Jesus, really marble mouth today. Yeah, I make this dirty chai kind of drink. So I grind my cardamom with some other spices, and just the process of having to pull the seeds out of pods, really not for me. So I started buying the seeds out of the pods. I also recommend playing around with black cardamom versus green cardamom because they are quite different. All right, so while this steeps, I'm gonna tell you about this tea, and I actually wrote down some notes. So we have the Assam black tea in there and black cardamom seeds. We're gonna add blackstrap molasses to this as a sweetener because, you know, Thai iced tea is like sweet as fuck. The reason we're using this is because it's really one of the richest in iron sources out there as far as like plant-based sources of iron go. It's really, really rich. So that's like the only reason. And iron is so important for energy. Like if you've ever been low in iron, you know how important iron is for energy. Oh my God, when I was iron deficient, I remember I would walk like 3 steps and be like, I need to sit down and take a break. Like it was one of the hardest periods of my life, quite frankly. We're gonna do soy milk for the creaminess and for protein. And soy milk is also naturally rich in choline, which is a really important nutrient. Because I don't think it's a vitamin or a mineral. I don't really know. We'll just call it nutrient for brain health. Now, if you are plant-based like me, talk to your doctor about taking a supplement. I take a choline supplement because I'm yet to find, like, it exists in soy milk, it exists in sunflower lecithin, which I use often, but I find it hard to get meaningful amounts of choline through plants, whereas choline is very rich in chicken eggs. So if you're not vegan, like definitely check that out. Yeah, I do take a choline supplement. I'll link the one that I take. And then we're gonna add creatine to this. Now, if you've been following me or the show for a while, you obviously know about my creatine journey. I've had depression my entire adult life, like literally my entire adult life. And it was progressively year by year getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then the beginning of last year, I remember January 10th of 2025, waking up and being like, oh, I feel kind of good today. And then the next day I was like, oh, I feel kind of good today. And then every day that followed, I felt the same way. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I realized my creatine had kicked in. I had started taking creatine per my trainer's suggestion. And only when the creatine actually fully saturated the muscle, because it takes a while to really saturate, did I realize how insanely energy depleted I had been like my entire life. And that really was one of the big contributing factors to my depression. I'm not saying it's like the only thing, but it was a huge, huge, huge contributing factor. Now, I am looking into increasing my creatine from 5 grams to 10 grams. So I took my 5 grams this morning. I did 10 grams yesterday, but that was honestly only because I slept 4 hours because Sam was being an absolute terrorist. Yeah, I did the 10 grams yesterday and I figured I took 5 this morning. I'll take another 5 now with this drink. And then I'll just keep going and I'll let you know if I really notice a difference or not. Okay, I think it's been long enough for steeping this. Unfortunately, some of the shit got through the bottom, which really is not ideal for this. So, I don't know. What should I do you think? You know what? I'm gonna strain it, rinse out this cup, and then pour it back in this cup. I don't know, is that stupid? Yeah, because I definitely don't want the tea bits in the bottom if I'm gonna mix in the creatine. Ugh, I threw away some old flowers earlier. What is it with how disgusting old flowers smell? Like, what is that about? Anyway, I do not usually take this brand of creatine. I just bought it. The store only had these sachets, but I also ordered a tub of it. It's supposed to be cleaner and better. It's by like German standards, which are higher, whatever. Like, I honestly don't know if it's better. It's been 2 days for me, but I will keep you apprised as to whether it's actually better or not. Let's give that a little whirl so it mixes in. I always do my creatine in hot water, by the way. Not necessarily boiling, but hot from all the research, or warm, I should say. From all the research I've done, it doesn't really seem to affect anything. Like, it doesn't make it less effective or anything like that. And it just makes it dissolve better. So you want to do like 2 tablespoons or so of this. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. That seems about right. Ooh, look how black that is. Ooh. Okay, let's go get our soy milk and get that in there, huh? Now, if this tastes good and has even a remote resemblance to Thai iced tea, I will be making this on repeat, and I'll let you know if it's shit so you don't make it, okay? I'm gonna start doing this and like so I can really whisk in the soy milk as it goes in. Wait, I love this. A little bit sweeter, which honestly, I think I barely even got a teaspoon in there. I love this electric whisk, and this is usually not an issue, but it has 3 levels available. And if you want to use level 1, you have to cycle through them to get it off. So basically, if your cup's pretty full and you can only do level 1, then you have to go to 3 to turn it off, and sometimes it causes spillage. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it is something to note. Okay, let's see how this is. Yeah, okay, I like that a lot. Yum. You know, I originally was thinking about making a gingerbread latte, in part because I knew I wanted to use this because of the iron content, but molasses is used in gingerbread cookies, so I was like, oh, that would be perfect. But honestly, I was scared that it wouldn't be the vibe because Christmas is over. Like, do people still care about gingerbread once Christmas is over? Or like, is it gingerbread's over party after Christmas? I really don't know. I also, by the way, really wanted to do a hot beverage, not just because it's winter, but there was a study that came out a few months ago. I think it came out in like October of 2025. It was in the British Journal of Nutrition that showed that people who drink hot beverages in the winter have lower rates of depression, sleep better, and have better digestion. Anyway, or more specifically, it's not that they had better digestion. I think they had fewer incidents of digestive problems or something like that, whatever. I just summarized to better digestion. Also, I really wanted to do something with tea versus coffee. Not that I don't love coffee, you know, I'm a coffee drinker now. I'm still looking for an espresso machine, by the way. A few people, including my beautiful, amazing, talented editor, have recommended those Italian stovetop espresso maker things to me. And I looked into it and it seemed like a great option. The only thing is that's not technically espresso. I mean, it is like a very concentrated coffee that could work as espresso, but apparently technically an espresso requires 9 bars of pressure to make. What that means, I will never know. Like, is bar a unit of measurement that I'm not aware of? I'm sure it is. Like, I'm not a scientist. Anyway, so I don't know, and I really like the aesthetic of a proper espresso maker, but I do want it to be compact and I want it to be chic and I want it to be effective. So again, still soliciting recs on that. Please drop them in the comments. Okay, I think it's time for us to move on. Okay, let's do it. Oh, I never finished saying what I was saying about the tea. I got so sidetracked by espresso. So I wanted to use tea because tea has both caffeine and L-theanine, and the balance of the two gives you energy, but in a calmer, less jittery kind of way. Okay, so let's move on to our salad. Now, I call this speed salad. And I'm taking my rings off because I'm gonna get in there with my hands. So the reason I call it speed salad is it has a triple meaning, if you will. So meaning number one is that it's quite quick to prepare, in part because we're not blending anything. It's really easy and really simple. But the other two meanings are that it gives you power, like speed, energizes you. And also it's yummy and addictive, like speed. I say as someone who's never done speed. So we're just gonna take our washed curly kale and tear it off by the handful. Now, the more natural your kale is, the more I emphatically recommend that you wash it carefully, because caterpillars love to hang out inside of kale leaves. I think it's something with the curliness. They can really nestle in there. And when I buy really, really fresh kale, I nearly said kettle. What is wrong with me? When I buy really, really fresh kale from the farmer's market, I've seen caterpillars in there quite a few times. One time I had friends over for dinner, and this was I kind of just moved to New York, just started to make friends, was relatively new to this lifestyle. I mean, there were elements of it, I would say, my whole life, but really full on this kind of lifestyle. And I just started buying everything from the farmer's market all the time. I prepared this beautiful meal. And I had friends over and I was telling them how there was, no, I think I was doing the salad last and I was like, oh my God, there's a caterpillar in there. And one of these bitches who had come over was like, ew, gross, and then I love when I get angry. I think I'm so much more funny when I'm angry. I used to hate, and I don't love my own anger. It's something I'm really working on. But I think it's important to kind of accept ourselves while working on it, right? It's never okay to be rude or mean to people. But also you don't have to hate yourself because you have a negative trait. Anyway, so this fucking cunt. After she was it was high school mean girl, ew, that's gross, that kind of vibe. Then, by the way, do we love my nails? These two are kind of fucked because they broke, but we did a nice little baby almond. And then when they grow out a tiny bit more, I'll go more fully almond. Okay, anyway, so then a few months later, she gets more and more crunchy and plant-based. And then she starts talking about how when your food is natural and doesn't have pesticides, blah, blah, blah. It's I'm waiting on my apology, you dumb fucking cunt. I think all my neighbors just heard that. Okay, anyway, so back to the kale. Actually, so remember how I said I was looking for alternatives to Adderall? I ended up just getting an Adderall prescription after that. I don't think okay, here's the thing. I actually now really do think I have ADHD. I really do. I have kind of all the symptoms of it, especially where I really, really see it for myself is in kind of social dynamics. Every TikTok or meme or Instagram thing I see that's being friends with someone on the ADHD spectrum or whatever, I relate to so much, like every little thing I've ever seen. So yeah, now I really do think I have it. But for many years I took Adderall and I really don't think I needed it, but I just wanted to be thinner. So, and like I said, I wanted to be thinner. I wanted to stop, I was just snacking constantly in the office, in part because I was so unhappy and I was just so bored and I wanted to be able to get things done quicker. There were a lot of reasons. I really thought Adderall was the limitless drug, The first time I took Adderall, story within a story, it was finals of freshman year of college. Wait, I have another fun. Okay, I have 3 good Adderall stories. So the first time I took it was spring finals of freshman year. Finals happened over the course of 2 weeks. Somehow all of my finals were within the first 4 days of the finals period. So I had very little time to study. And I think I had 4 finals in the first 4 days. And then I had a paper for my writing class due on the 5th day. And so I studied for my 4 finals. I didn't even start my paper until I finished the 4th final. And then I got Adderall from a friend and he gave me 2 5-milligram pills. He was like, take one first and then the second one second. No, he's like, wait hours and then take the second one. I stayed up all night, wrote the paper, rewrote it, cleaned, kept editing and changing things, turned it in, went to a spin class. It was my first ever spin class. Actually, funny story, a week later, I took a spin class. I was like, wait, why is this 20,000 times harder? And I was like, oh, that's right, because I'm not on Adderall. I didn't eat for 3 days. It took so long for me to be able to eat again. And you really want to be doing this kale bite-sized pieces. See what I mean? ADHD, the ability to jump in and out of different conversations. So that was the first time I took Adderall, and that really was what cemented in my head that I think Adderall is the limitless drug. We would all be better versions of ourselves. Now, as someone who was on Adderall for many, many years, I no longer think that. Yeah, in the very beginning, it's all fun and games and it feels good. But then it just started to make me so irritable. It really fucked my relationship with food, which wasn't great to begin with. And yeah, I would get really angry and really irritable and really, really anxious. I'm so happy I don't take it anymore, even though yeah, it does help you focus and stuff. I'm so happy I don't take it anymore. But anyway, so I made an appointment with the doctor and I prepared for this it was the role of a lifetime. I did so much research into the symptoms of ADHD. And back then, people didn't talk about this stuff that much, But yeah, I did so much research. And from the moment I walked into that doctor's office, before I even met with the doctor, I'm talking when I checked in, when I sat in the waiting room, etc., I started exhibiting signs of ADHD. When I was in that waiting room, I opened and closed every single magazine in the waiting room because I was I just want to seem really fidgety and really this and really that. Anyway, like I said, I really don't recommend it. If I could do things over again, I definitely would have never taken Adderall. I know they say yeah, if you actually have ADHD, it's useful and it does this and it does that. I've heard people say if you actually have ADHD, it calms you down. I don't know. That was never my experience, but then again, who knows? Maybe I don't have it, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. My last Adderall story, this is actually my favorite one. So when I was in law school, I was in a criminal law class. I think it may have been on drugs, drugs and the law or something. I don't remember. I just remember we talked about drugs a lot. That's why I wonder if it was about drugs. I really don't remember though. What class was it? Wait, if anyone from my law school, and there's one person I'm thinking of specifically who took the class with me, if you're watching, can you remind me what the fuck that class was? I really don't remember. The professor brought in the head of campus police for our entire college. He mainly works with undergrad. And this guy was such an asshole and said so many rude and condescending things. At some point he said that if there wasn't campus security, regulating the dorms, then the dorms would turn into brothels. I was like, what? Like, I couldn't even hide my disdain for this man. I was like, I'm so sorry, could you repeat that, sir? And he did, and I was like, are you saying that all the girls on this campus would turn into sex workers if it weren't for you? Like, are you mentally well? Like, what is wrong? Like, do you even understand what you're saying? Like, I literally I couldn't even contain myself. Like, the professor was giving me eyes like, please stop. Like, he's our guest, please stop. But I was like, no, what he's saying is insane. Like, I'm not gonna allow this. Anyway, okay, let me go grab that marinade that we made before. Actually, let me grab some more stuff for this salad. It's just this. This is some more stuff. It's just some pre-marinated seaweed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour some of this marinade in there. I'm using a strainer because I don't need all of the things. Like, those were just for infusing the flavor in. And now this is why I took off my rings. I'm gonna get in with my hands and massage. Okay, so he was giving us, this campus security asshole, was giving us a bunch of scenarios and then having us weigh in on whether like that was a problem or not. And one of them involved like kids taking Adderall to study. And the first person who responded raised his hand and he's like, yeah, no, like blah, blah, obviously you shouldn't take medication that's not prescribed to you. But also like they are taking Adderall like the way that it's meant to be taken, like for the actual purposes, like to study rather than like using it to party. And the campus security guy was like, no, Adderall's purpose isn't to study. Adderall is medication to treat ADHD. And when I tell you, literally the next person was like, yeah, and anyway, so since they're using the Adderall like in the way that it's meant to be used, and he was like, that's not how it's meant to be used, it's medication for ADHD. When I tell you, literally 20 different people throughout the room were like, yeah, and they're just using the Adderall like to study, you know, that's like what it's there for. And he's like, Adderall is not an over-the-counter study aid. It is medication to treat ADHD. Like, he was like literally turning blue in the face. I was like, karma. Anyway, okay, so we massaged the kale a little with the sauce. I'm sure you've seen people do this on social media, so I'm not gonna like go on a whole thing about why we do this, but in case you're not familiar, it helps break down some of the tougher fibers to just make it a little bit more digestible. So now I'm just chopping up some scallions. We're gonna add those in too. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna add a little bit of toasted sesame oil and I'm gonna massage again, and then I'm gonna really wash my hands. Now you can eyeball this. It obviously depends on how much kale you're using too. But I love, love, love the flavor of a toasted sesame oil. Okay, yes. All right, let me wash my hands and come right back. Oh, so the vase that I threw away the old flowers from, it smells vile. Let's get our rings back on because we're not massaging anymore. So the kale is a really good source of fiber, folate, minerals, which like really helps you have more steady energy. And the scallions are primarily for flavor, although I mean all veggies are good for you and great for the gut microbiome too. I love the combination of scallions and tamari. Wait, I have to tell this story. I really hope Ozzy doesn't watch this. So we have all these noodles, packaged noodles, because I've gotten them in PR a lot. And the other day, I don't know if he was just in a weird mood or something, but he was grabbing one of the packages and they're different flavors. They're like high-end kind of instant noodles from two really well-known brands. And he goes, the flavor was sweet and spicy. And he goes, what does that mean? And I go, sweet or spicy? Like, what do you mean? Which part of that are you not familiar with? And then he grabbed another one and it said scallions and soy. And he goes, what does that mean? And I was like, again, scallions or soy? What's the disconnect? What's the problem? Like, how can I help you here? Are you telling me you don't know what scallions and soy means? Because I think you do. Anyway, so that's just a funny little random story about Ozzy. Okay. Oh, let me chop up the seaweeds. Now, seaweed is a really good source of iodine and also good source of tyrosine, which is an amino acid that's a precursor for dopamine, but I think also for norepinephrine. I don't know. Some of those like yummy, good neurotransmitters that help you feel happier and just like be in a better fucking mood, you know? You know. I'm also gonna add in some avocado. Yes. I'm so fucking excited to eat this. Also, both of those nutrients, both iodine and tyrosine, are really, really important for thyroid health too. And just like great for steady energy. By the way, when I plate it, I'm then gonna drizzle this tahini on it. It's my favorite tahini, and I love that it comes in this squeeze bottle. It makes it so great for drizzling. I just have it upside down because it's almost empty. I have one of these avocados, by the way. I think it's a Florida avocado. I hope that this hasn't gone off a little bit. Gross. Okay, let me, I have another one. Let me grab another one. Okay, hopefully this avocado will be better. If not, we'll just cut around the bad parts in the other one. But yeah, I think it's a Florida avocado or no, it's not, but whatever. Or also called a tropical avocado. Most people don't like it as much as a Hass avocado. It's definitely not as creamy and it's a little more watery, but I sometimes like it. I don't know, whatever. What can I say? Yeah, it's really not the best avocado, but honestly, like, who cares? So let's toss this up. And then let's plate it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in this pretty blue bowl. Just gonna throw it in. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's looking good. So I'm gonna add a little more scallion on top just to make it look pretty. I'm also gonna microplane some ginger on top. Again, I think the flavors are gonna work quite nicely in here, but the other reason, okay, this is really not working. The other reason I wanted to do, okay, the ginger is because it's great for gut motility, it's great for bloating, and it's great for circulation, which I guess can help you feel a little more energized too. Okay, doing a real dog shit job with this ginger, but that's fine. And then let's just do our little tahini drizzle. And I'm gonna sprinkle on some dried miso flakes. This is really just for aesthetics. Seriously though, how good does that look? Oh my God. No, I'm obsessed. All right, let's give it a nice little mix. And let's eat, yeah? Okay, don't mind me chewing for 45 minutes, but guess what? Chewing is really important for digestion. That is so fucking good. That is so fucking good. I can't even put it into words. And it's so simple. You saw how simple that was. Now, I was originally planning on adding edamame to this, but I just kind of wasn't in the mood. But I think that would be really, really good. You could also do butter beans, which I think would be different, but good. Another thing that I think would be really lovely is sprinkling sesame seeds onto this. Now, fun fact about me, I love sesame flavor. I love all things sesame. I don't like whole sesame seeds. I like sesame oil. I like tahini. I like sesame paste. I like making sauces with sesame. I just don't like whole sesame seeds. Like the texture, it's just not for me. So that's why I didn't do it. But I think it would be really, really lovely. All right, I'm gonna have one more bite right now. And then I'm gonna clean up a little bit and we're gonna do our last dish of the day, which is so sad. I'm having so much fun. Also, this fucking ring with chopsticks. Okay, it's time for our last dish. I'm so fucking excited for this one, and I've never made this before, but I think it's gonna be good. So first I'm just gonna chop some cherry tomatoes and some garlic, and then we'll get to cooking. Also, I literally cannot chop tomatoes without like snacking on half of them, so the fact that I haven't had a single one is frankly a miracle. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention though, both with the tomatoes and the lime in the salad really helps iron absorb better. So that's a nice little feature. The vitamin C in it specifically helps iron absorb better. Sorry, she is tired because her dog has been acting like a little psychopath. So also she has another UTI, like of course. Luckily this time it's not a strain that has to be treated with that antibiotic that she really doesn't do well with, but it is a specialized antibiotic and a compounding pharmacy has to make it. And the last time she had to have an antibiotic from a compounding pharmacy, it cost $2,000. So that's fun. Don't really know what to expect with this, but quite frankly, I will take anything over that experience. No, I am so hungry and so fucking excited to eat this shit. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, I've been dreaming and fantasizing of a dish like this. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I hope it's gonna be good. So we're gonna do a creamy, creamy, tomatoey udon. So it's kind of fusiony. I'm just putting a little bit of water in here. And I have these udon packets that are like, you know, the way Asian grocers sell udon that's shelf stable, but it's pretty soft. That's why we're not doing like a full boil for this. Oof, that feels really soft and nice. Yeah, I'm just kind of picking it apart with my hands a little. I'm doing two. I might even do a third packet because that just doesn't look like that much food. Ozzy's not in town, which I feel bad because I feel like he would really, really love this, but I want to have leftovers, so. Or maybe I'll just eat it all. I don't know. We'll see. Anything's possible. At this point, I'm going to toss in my tomatoes and my garlic, but I think I'm going to go get that third packet too. All right, let's get this third packet in. Yeah, I just want everything to soften up here. I feel like that's not nearly enough tomatoes. Should I add more? Yeah, maybe I'll like chop up some more and add them in. Now, I didn't do this, but I kind of think that saffron could taste good in this, but you'd have to bloom it separately and then whisk it in. Maybe I should have started this sooner in the meal, quite frankly. Yeah, because it feels like it's gonna take a while for these tomatoes to burst. Or maybe I should have put the tomatoes in first, but I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, do we have New Year's resolutions? Like, did you make New Year's resolutions or goals or anything? Honestly, can I be really real about mine? Like every year I set all these like goals or resolutions or intentions or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Like the way I feel like wellness has grifted us, and one of the biggest wellness grifts that I see is this like emphasis on changing the words that we use for things. And I'm not saying that words don't matter, because like they do, but I think they matter a lot less than what some wellness influencers say. Like, I don't think it matters if you call it an intention or a resolution or a goal. Like, just use whatever fucking word you have. Like, as a society, the amount of attention that we pay to like what word we're using instead of actually trying to make movement towards the goal or what like the actual intention in is crazy to me. Like the amount that I see people talking about like, oh, don't call it this, call it this. It's like let's find a solution instead of focusing so much on what word we're using for it. All right, I'm gonna need you tomatoes to burst a little bit faster, please. We're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. That udon looks so fucking good. I'm gonna add that last bit of water to this. Yeah, oh, the garlic is starting to get fragrant. Come on, you little shitheads. Also, I don't know, I'm PMSing, not in a great mood, and everyone's annoying me. I just saw something on social media. Like, I'm really sick of the irony of this, of people who like think they're informed on a subject but really aren't, acting like an authority on it. And I'm very much guilty of this myself. But I feel like I've really realized that and learned my lesson. Not that like anyone called me out or did anything. And I feel like I really don't do that anymore. So I'd like everyone else to start not doing that too. Like I saw this influencer who like thinks she's some kind of nutrition expert just go, yeah, like vegetable oils can be so like inflammatory, like blah, blah. Guys, seed oils have been really well researched. Like there are so many studies on seed oils that show them to like really not be very harmful. Nevertheless, she was like, even avocado oil is so processed. Like you should opt for coconut oil instead. Coconut oil, which by the way, I think is totally fine in moderation, is one of the highest saturated fat things out there, which like saturated fat is legit bad for you. Like it really, really is. For her to say that, I think is so nutty. Like I honestly don't even know what to say. Yeah, I'm just like really fucking annoyed of all this shit. I saw something else the other day from this influencer was like, never, ever do a fasted workout, which like, I'm not saying you should do a fasted workout. I'm just like what is with the fear mongering for everything all the time? I'm gonna stop like PMS ranting. Okay, this is starting to look more like I want it to. I just want the tomatoes to release more juices into this. I mean, I guess I could grab a little bit of tomato paste to make it more tomatoey. Should I do that? I don't know. Yeah, let's just do that. I just got this tomato paste. I like a little tube situation because then you can just put the lid back on. Because anytime something is in a can, I feel this need to like commit to using the whole can. I'm just gonna do a tiny little squirt. Yeah, this is looking so much better. Although again, a little more red would be nice. When I was a little kid, liked tomato paste so much that I used to just grab it from the fridge because we always had like open tomato paste. It's such a big ingredient in Persian cooking. But I would just grab it from the fridge and like smear a little bit onto bread and eat it. And I'd have to hide to do this because my parents would get mad at me because they're like, it's gonna hurt your tummy. Like you have to heat up tomato paste before you eat it. I don't know why they wouldn't just like heat it up for me instead of that whole song and dance. Okay, this is looking more like what I wanted it to look like. I'm gonna turn off the heat. This is obviously continuing to cook, although I think my udon is like way overcooked. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of soy milk. We're gonna use this to make it creamy, but it's also gonna add some protein. So like fun. I'm gonna add a little bit of nutritional yeast. Again, creamy flavor, lots of B vitamins. Like one of the best sources of B vitamins, truly, just by volume, if you will. And then I'm gonna do like 1 tablespoon of white miso. I'm gonna mix this up a little and then I'm gonna toss it with the udon. Okay, I really have to be careful with this pitcher thing because I shattered one of these ones. So don't wanna do that again. It's not very well mixed, but I'm honestly, oh, you know what? I could use this because that won't shatter this. But I'll just kind of mix it as I do this. Okay, I really don't know about this, honestly. It's really not how I envisioned it at all. But I think I should have put the tomatoes in first and let them cook a little. And then added the udon because like it didn't really need proper cooking, but whatever, lesson learned. Make it that way at home, kids, but it does look good and it does smell good. I want to taste just like a tiny bit. Yes, that's very good. I love how garlicky it is. Like the burst of tomato. Okay, let's plate her, yeah? So I'm just gonna serve it in this pretty blue bowl again, very blush blue. I also love how I just like made up that color, blush blue. It's not a thing. If anything, blush should be pink, but I'm like, nah, blush blue, it's our own color now. Look out, Pantone. Okay, I want some of these tomatoes sitting on top. I'm gonna do some black pepper on this. Maybe even a little bit of crystallized shoyu and some fresh basil too. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Oh my God, I love her. Wait, okay, I have to take a photo. Fuck yeah. Okay, I think it's time for a taste test. Maybe I should get a fork for this. That really is the pasta of my dreams. Like, it's literally perfect. This crystallized shoyu is doing a lot for this, by the way, more so than the black pepper, in my opinion. Okay, anyway, I think that's a wrap. I think I need to sit and properly eat now, and I feel like I've gabbed for long enough. Oh wait, the one thing I was gonna say that I didn't finish. Yeah, I feel like every year when I make resolutions or goals or intentions or whatever the fuck we're calling them now, I come up with all these things, but ultimately I think every year truly what I'm after is just like feeling hotter and being happier. And everything that I put on my list is just in service of that. So this year I was like, fuck it. I just want to be hotter and happier. That's my focus for this year. I don't care how, you know, not like I don't care how, but I mean, I'm not going to come up with these things like I'm going to start running or I'm going to start doing this. It's like the reason I want to do those things is to feel hotter and be happier. So this year I'm just going to focus on that and see how I get there. You know what I mean? Anyway, love you so much. Thanks for being here. We'll chat next week. Bye. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.